Are you?
Hi, I'm doing great, thank you.
We are back for another Bill Cooper. I think we're on hour 20, if I
Yes,
remember correctly.
we're
Um,
almost halfway through.
Almost halfway. We're getting there. Um, so obviously, before we get started, we generally like to give a quick rundown of
hmm
kind of major events and what's happening today. Today, generally. Um, I if you follow me on X, which if you're not, you probably should. Uh, Last night I put out a tweet. I am still convinced that Joe Biden's dead, but uh, either here nor there. The one thing that I do want to denounce is all the like it. The conservative tent gets really big, and then everybody hates each other because people have different opinions. Fuck off. Just you can have your own opinion. You don't have to tell the line. This is not the Democrats. We can
hmm
all have our own opinions and make a case for it, and we have healthy debate. So the wars going back and forth of this person was wrong or this person's right, or I mean, it's
Everyone's
it's just
guessing
not
right
good.
now,
Right,
and
right,
that's exactly what they want. They want us
yeah,
all nattering at each other, guessing what's going on. So no one's paying attention to what's really happening.
yeah. Um, but I'm still 100% convinced that that dude croaked. Like between I laid out like a partial list last night, but between he delegated his powers to his cabinet for fuck's sake. Like who does that still wants to be president?
Yeah,
Um and that was actually an official document. That wasn't the fake shit that he supposedly signed.
right.
um but I mean, you don't delegate official powers uh just for the hell of it. Like there has to be some kind of methodology or some kind of reason behind that. Um
Yeah.
so there's just a lot of weird stuff going on. Obviously, the letter that didn't look like it was signed by Joe Biden. You have um, the Vegas story. If you didn't hear the Vegas story, there's
Vegas.
now
No.
receipts for the Vegas story.
What about the
Um,
Vegas story? What is this?
so um, they called for an emergency, a health emergency, and they were going to take him to the local hospital in Vegas. Um, they then called it off and said that the health emergency was so bad that they were going to put him back on Air Force One and take him back home, and uh, and they did just that. And that was the last time that anyone saw him before today. Um,
Okay.
so again, take it what it's worth, but so that was first reported. I think Charlie Kirk actually did that one first, but
I thought he was already in Delaware. I had no idea he was in Vegas.
no, he was in
Oh,
Vegas at a campaign stop, and the last video was him um, sniffing a child, and then they said he was diagnosed with COVID, and everybody memed the shit out of him sniffing the child and the child getting COVID.
yeah.
And um,
Kids
then
will
he
get
kind of,
everyone sick. They're
I
germ
know,
factories. My goodness.
they're gross. Um, but yeah, so that took place.
Interesting. See, I thought he had COVID, so he went to Delaware, and that's where he's been ever since.
That's been the official story, but he was in Vegas. There was a quote
An
medical
event.
emergency where they cleared roads and cleared all kinds of stuff,
Ooh.
and then they called it off and told the Secret Service basically that it had resolved itself, and they jumped him on the Air Force One, and um, the eyewitness account said it's the fastest they've ever seen the president take off. So,
Oh.
um,
Well, Air Force One is a full triage and trauma center. Like they can do anything there in
yeah,
that plane. So, you know, there's that. Once they get him into that plane, he can do, or they can do anything.
right. Probably the safest place he could be if he was having a medical emergency.
Yeah.
Um, and definitely away from the cameras, so they can do whatever the hell they want there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's just a lot of things, and where there's so much smoke, there's got to be fire at some point. Like you got to figure that there's fire somewhere at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm still convinced that. Well, I know one thing for sure. He's sure as hell not running this country. Like I think we can say that unequivocally.
True. But we could say that as soon as he won.
Well, that's
Won in
true
air
too.
quotes. But
81
honestly,
million
I
votes.
hear what you're saying, but I am still of the opinion that the old guy is alive and kicking somewhere. He may not be in very great shape, but if he were really dead and there was no way around it, they wouldn't have had to use that resignation letter on paper that wasn't letterhead. They wouldn't have had to use a totally sus signature. He would have addressed the nation, you
Mhm.
know. I'm pretty sure they've got him squirreled away somewhere. He may be very close to death, but he's not dead yet because they didn't have the balls to really do it official.
Well,
So
and like I told Cheesy, like the problem with this is that in good faith and good conscience, we can genuinely argue that the president is dead and they're hiding it.
yeah,
That's how fucked up this whole situation is. Whether he is or isn't is really not
the
not
fact that there's a discussion about it is the problem.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a legitimate discussion about it. I mean, you can be pretty sure that there's some legitimacy to some of the arguments that people are making, and I
Hmm.
think that's the worst part about it all.
Yeah.
Um, it shows you how far and how disorganized this country is. The second Trump hearing today uh, on the Secret Service's failure was total dog shit. I don't know if you've seen the
No,
newest
I saw
video that
that
comes out.
she went or she stepped down, but I haven't been able to watch anything. The man had the day off, so I haven't watched
Oh, okay.
anything for the last couple of days.
Yeah, Kim Cheadle did resign, thank God.
Hmm.
So she's gone. Uh, America's pressure valve. But
Okay.
there's a recently released video of the Secret Service agent pointing out that there was somebody detained from the water tower that was the second shooter. So fuck all the people that are saying there wasn't a second shooter, because now we have the Secret
Okay.
Service saying there was at the location. So,
Okay. I was
um,
trying to figure out what all that meant. There was just so much to catch up on in the
oh,
Discord.
our back and forth. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So the Secret Service is admitting that there was someone on the water tower and that they detained him or her.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
Do we know if they had a weapon or anything like that, or were these just teenagers up there with beer trying to see Trump? Like,
I mean, it was
where on
really
the
far away,
scale were they?
really far away for beer Trump viewing. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, there was one detained because they detained one by the water tower, and then they detained two people recording, but they quickly resolved the two people recording, and
Okay.
that left um, the one
Oh,
individual. So,
that kind of
fucking weird.
sounds like the two people recording were the ones that alerted the Secret Service that there was someone up there.
Well, that was the problem. They pointed out the plan.
Yeah.
Can't have that.
Oh shit,
Um,
that's right too. Yeah. They pointed out the wrong person.
right, right. They,
Gotcha.
yeah, they pointed out the guy that actually did it instead of the scapegoat.
Yeah. Now does all the angles and everything, the shooting, because I know Brennan Herrera did a video, but has anyone looked into a second shooter and if that is plausible or
Yeah, I have pretty extensively. I just haven't had time to make the damn video yet because the world hasn't slowed down long enough for me to finish the damn thing. Like it has been the craziest week I can ever even remotely remember in politics. Like it has been insane.
yeah,
Um,
I'm impressed.
I mean, Netanyahu's just kind of popping around. He landed by himself. Just
Yeah, like what happened? I like the way I read that one is he was probably scheduled to come and see Biden. So he
he
shows
was.
up, but Biden's not there.
Hmm.
So he's like, well, fuck this shit. I came all the way here. Give me Trump. And so I don't know. Did Trump talk to him?
I believe Trump hosted him at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, okay. So at least he's not, you guys aren't looking completely weak.
Well,
Like you
yeah,
didn't stand up the dude, the the president of Israel.
right, right.
Well, that's good. That's always
Um,
good.
yeah, I mean, he wasn't going to come, and then he decided all of a sudden to come. I mean, everybody said he wasn't going to come. Then I sat there and watched this plane leave, and I'm like, "Geez, he's coming." And then we watched this plane land, and I'm like, "Geez, he's here." He's like, "No, he said he's not coming." I'm like, he just landed. So, um,
Well, isn't he wanted by the Geneva, the
the
ISS
ICC,
or
yeah,
ICC? Dyslexia.
yeah, but they're garbage.
Well, no, I understand that, but um, if there's enough people who are pissed at him, it might be dangerous to be bopping around the world.
It could be. Thankfully, the United States doesn't participate. So, um,
That's true too. You guys don't recognize it, so it really doesn't matter.
right, right.
Yeah.
So it's
We recognize it, but our guy still ignores it. And he
well,
bops
I
all
mean,
over the world. Although he just bopped on over to my province to have a family vacation for the weekend, which he swears he's paying for this time. But all they could tell anyone was that he was going to be in BC. If they said any more than BC, he and his family wouldn't have had a vacation, would they? Right? Like he is so hated that they can only say the province.
that's
Once
awesome.
upon a time, they said, "Oh, he's over in Tofino again. He's surfing and blah blah blah." But no, he's just in BC somewhere, undisclosed, with his family.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like he's hunkering down.
I
Oh
mean,
man, yeah, I really hope Trump makes it and gets in there because it'll be fun, and at least it means that Western society is winning for a little while longer, and I'm part of that. Being your next door neighbor, I kind of we're gonna get tarred with the same feather, right? So
right.
I want someone strong leading you guys too, because we can't get it here. We're way too screwed.
Yeah, I think we're probably screwed too. I think it's gonna get real messy here, unfortunately. Um,
Mm,
but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Uh, Only time will tell.
yeah.
So
Oh, gee, I hope you feel better. Um,
yeah.
Hi, Peggy and Jacob and OG. Good
Hey,
to
what's up?
see you.
Um,
Sorry, I get migraines, so I totally understand. Got to go dark.
gotcha.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't I don't really know what the world's gonna look like in a few years or 5 years or um
Yeah,
it's getting
like
to that point. So
Trump only has 4 years, no matter what. Trump only gets four more. What are
right.
they planning on doing after that? Right? I don't see
Uh
anyone lining up to be the next Trump. And I honestly, I don't see anyone trusting JD Vance just yet.
no, some new text messages just dropped with good old JD.
Oh no.
Uh
More Trump hatred?
so uh just general dumbassery. Um
Okay.
I think
Well,
he's
they can't
part
hit
of
him
the
with oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think he's part of the wickedness, but personally, but
Oh, but he just turned cat. Well, as we're learning in this series, just because you claim to be a certain religion doesn't mean you are if you follow this religion.
correct.
So, yeah. Well, interesting because they can't hit him as a racist. They can't pull that card for him because he's married to a woman of color. You know? So, that base is covered. He's not Teflon Don by any means, but
Right.
Yeah, maybe getting the Catholic church behind him would definitely strengthen him. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited, but like I trust Trump, but I don't know that I trust JD Vance.
Hmm.
Um, so
I don't trust any of them anymore.
well, yeah. I mean, that's a good general rule to live by.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everything's such a mess. It's crazy. But what is tonight's about? Speaking of crazy,
We
tonight's episode
are oh shoot, now I've forgotten again. It's the Rose.
of the Ross Order.
Oh, okay. The Oh, now I can't read it.
Rose Cross Order. Sorry,
Rose
not
Cross.
Ross Order.
Okay. So I think this one is the British family, I think.
Oh,
Um I may be wrong. I get my memory is not a safe place to put something because it gets lost. I mix them up. But yeah, I believe the Rose and Cross is one of the older British honors that they give to
okay.
people. Yeah.
All right. Um, well, I guess if you're ready, you want to?
Yeah. I'm not getting texted, so I think I'm right.
Okay.
But I'm ready to go.
Well, if you get texted, we'll change our opinion. But
Okay.
all right, we'll start.
Lights out for the curfew of your body, soul, and mind.
Hi, Linda. Just in time.
Across America and around the world, you're listening to the Hour of the Time, the only hour that ever was or ever will be, for during this hour you will decide your future and thus our collective futures. I'm your host, William Cooper. Everybody look back in that corner at the far side of the room where it's real dark behind that chair. I'm going to turn on a very, very bright light, and I want you all to watch the cockroaches scatter. For tonight, I'm going to read verbatim to you from a book that we found in a dusty shelf far back in the rear of a used bookstore
Mhm.
that proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that what I've been revealing to you in the many segments of the series entitled The Mystery Schools on this program, The Hour of the Time, has been not only true, but right on target, and the first time that this information has ever been exposed in its entirety to the people of the world. Now, you had better go to the used bookstores in your cities, and you'd better get there before the cockroaches get there, because I tell you now, they know that we are searching for proof and that we are digging for the evidence that we will use in the future to hang them by their own rope. You need to get there first and buy any and every book that is concerned with any and every secret society, mystery, religion, or cult that you can find. If you don't understand them, and if you don't want to use them to help us expose these people, then send those books to us, because we will put them to the best use. I'm holding in my hand an old, faded, what used to be red hardbacked covered book. It's almost orange now because it's faded with age, entitled Fundamental Laws 68th Convocation. On the front of the cover is some of the symbology of the mystery schools. There is a rope representing the snake eating its own tail, also known as the magic circle.
That's the first
Within this
tattoo I ever
magic
got.
circle, there is
Oops.
a triangle, actually 3 triangles, one within the other. Within the triangles, there's the symbol of the skull and bones. There's the symbol of wings around the world. There's the symbol of the ark, the anchor, and the 3 letters TRY beneath the 3 triangles. This is the verbatim written report published in 1916, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm going to read to you from. Fundamental Laws, a report of the 68th Convocation of the Rose Cross Order, giving a resume of the proceedings of the convocation, together with most of the lectures that were delivered during this time of the convocation by the several delegates present. Also a report of the work of ancient initiation in the Grove of Osiris as especially prepared for the occasion. Below that is the symbol of a triangle with 3 stone steps representing the 3 degrees of initiation. Up on the top step is a cross, in the center of which is a rose. And beneath the triangle, again, the 3 letters TRY. This is copyrighted 1916, published by the Philosophical Publishing Company, Allentown, Pennsylvania, for the members of the Rose Cross Order. On the next page is a roll of honor. One of the names here stands out and almost knocked me over when I saw it, for the name is Lars Hansen. Now, it is not the Lars Hansen that we've discussed on this show, and we're going to look into it to find out if this was his father, our grandfather, our great-grandfather. Could have been either one of the 3. But we will find out, believe me. We know that Lars Hansen's parents were members of the mystery school, and in particular, the Metternich-Stell group, where Lars Hansen was reared. In explanation of the contents of this book, and I'm reading verbatim from the introduction in explanation. In explanation of the contents of this book, it is to be stated that these articles do not give the inner work of the Rose Cross Order, but simply the outer, the public teachings. Now, you'll remember in the Mystery School series, I taught you about the exoteric and the esoteric. What you're going to get in this book, because they never publish the esoteric anywhere, it's always hidden in symbology, but there are incredible admissions in this book that you will hear in the exoteric. Reading again, verbatim. The Illuminati and its soul science work may be called the child of the Rose Cross Order. Years ago, it was found that where there was one person who desired to follow the work with heart and soul, in other words, who was willing to live the life as taught by the order, there were 100 others who desired teachings from the order, but who were not willing to dedicate their lives to the sublime work. Now, I break from this for a moment to remind you that I have previously stated that the fraternity of Freemasons, the Ancient Order of the Rose and Cross, the Sovereign and Military Order of the Knights of Malta, the Knights Templars, the Mormon Church, all of these, the Illuminati, the Order, the Skull and Bones, are all the same organization. And what you have just heard is the first admission of that fact. And you are going to hear more as I progress. And remember, I'm reading this right out of their own publication, a hardbound book
this.
published by the Philosophical Society in Allentown, Pennsylvania, specifically for the Rose Cross Order.
So
What was that?
I just want to make sure that everyone is paying attention right here. The book he's reading from is where it will actually admit and explain how every single one of these groups that we have listened about so far, and we will continue to learn about, this admits that they are all connected. And it's It's if you want to follow it up, I know that they were able to put a whole bunch of books, old books, onto the internet way back in the day. I am sure someone who's better than I could go and search for those old books um, if they wanted them. But it's oh yes, this is an illuminating episode. I'm being told in chat.
Gotcha.
Yes, yes, but this connects everything, which is kind of cool. They put it into print. It's just like we see today. They tell us to our faces what they're going to do to us, and then it happens, and people are still surprised that it's happened. Well, this is them telling us what they're going to do all the way back
Awesome.
then. Yeah,
I mean, it still blows my mind that everything is connected. Like everything is connected. Um,
yeah.
because again, you think of the makeup of the world, and when these were, let's use the word allegedly, when these were allegedly put together, like there was not the same amount of networks. Like you didn't have mass transit or airplanes or like
Internet.
right. So it must have been so much easier for these people to rule and control, um, based on based on what was available at the time. So you didn't have much of anything. Like you had, rail was probably your best method of transportation at the time.
At
So
1916ish, yeah. Um,
yeah,
it's interesting though. I mean, if we believe that this mystery Babylon is as old as William Cooper believes, if it does go as far back as I believe it does, um, it's been ingrained in a certain group of people as much as Christianity has been ingrained in another group, or the Muslim faith has been ingrained in a large group of people. I think way back in the day, um, I think they've been working for a very, very, very long time, and the only people who start these special secret groups and whatnot are people with large amounts of money and power.
right,
So, I'm not surprised that they're all connected, because at the end of the day, there's only so many elite humans at the top of the pyramid, no matter if we're talking about 2024, 1910, even just 100 after Jesus.
right,
you know, there's still a small group of very powerful, very rich people who have controlled the world. Now, whether the same group of people from start to finish, that's a whole nother ball of wax. But the powerful and the rich are the ones that have been running this world from the start. So it's
right.
not very hard to believe that they're all connected.
But it's like, why hasn't somebody tried to knock them off yet? You know, why hasn't somebody why hasn't somebody realized that yet?
Well, from my perspective, they are the other religion. So they're being run by Satan. In which case, he can do he can do an awful lot of stuff to make sure that they don't get uncovered, and that the
True.
people who talk about this stuff are made out to be crackpots and crazies. So
Right.
tinfoil hat wearers.
I'm a proud tinfoil hat wearer.
Oh, I am too. I am too. I am actually well, okay, yeah, there's there's a streamer, I don't know if anyone's heard of him, Decoy Voice. I absolutely love the dude. I think he's great to listen to. Like his voice, he's got a really nice voice, but I like his takes on things. He just so happens in his merch to have a tinfoil hat toque.
That's
It's
awesome.
beautiful. Or sorry, for you guys, it would be a beanie, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
a toque.
I could just be
So
Canadian. Like,
okay, yeah, it's a tinfoil toque, and it's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, no, like it kind of goes back to kind of, are we the asshole if we've been ruled by the same horrific people for hundreds of years and we still haven't figured it out? Then maybe we deserve it. You gotta.
Well, you gotta remember though, they've been working in secret forever. Um,
Yeah,
and we have only just very recently had the ability to trade notes with people across the world and in multiple
yeah,
different parts of the world. All of a sudden, this internet thing, this communications thing, has allowed us to compare notes. I mean, look at how many lies we see our own government medias telling us if we just go and look at someone else's, media. You
yeah.
can see from a different country, you can see the take that they're having, and you get to see the stuff that your own country isn't telling you about. And
Like
there's
Joe's phone. I mean,
yes,
phone call.
yes, yes,
Recording.
exactly that.
Recorded call.
But yeah, that's exactly the problem that they're facing. Is for the first time in world history, we are able to communicate together. And that means, as a whole, we are able to, put up a fight against it. It might
Right.
be small pockets of people all across the world, but we're small pockets of people who are all talking to each other. And we can all, once we start comparing notes, it's really easy to start funneling out the lies and seeing what the similarities are and figuring out what's really going on. So,
When when do they shut off the internet then? Because they got to see that. They got to see that the only reason that we're even slightly formidable is because of the internet. So when's that go?
I don't know.
I mean, that would be logical, right?
It
Like,
would be, except then they lose that power as well, right? They won't be able to influence. All the propaganda goes away.
true.
So I don't know. On the flip side, I could see them waiting to turn the internet off until they've got that 5G running across the world. If, and this is a big if, allegedly, I don't know. This is just one of the many theories. But if the 5G is supposed to activate the graphites in the shots that everyone took, allegedly, then they would have control over the people and they wouldn't need the internet for
Well,
propaganda. I
I
don't
mean,
know. A theory. It's not necessarily one I believe, but it's a theory that's going around.
no, I get it. But the internet's such a useful tool to them in so many ways, though, because it is. If there was a hell, I think the internet is it. Like, the internet has pornography and it has violence and it has drugs and it has, I mean, everything that destroys society
Hmm.
is on the internet. Idol
Hmm.
worship, and I mean, like, if you were talking about a hell, it would be the internet.
I think it's a good place for yeah, for evil to hang out. Certainly
I mean,
gives them a good foothold to spread their word. And there's okay, let's get quickly. Linda, I saw that one. Trump needs to get his protection from the hood and from veterans.
mhm.
Um, A. Baker, I don't know that pastor, so I didn't hear it. But CrowdStrike, yes, that was a test run. I've heard that multiple places. Um,
Yeah.
I'm surprised, as on an aside, that you guys would still use Dominion voting machines. I mean, we don't use them. I'm very
Digger,
surprised.
in the interest of my life and bank account, they are the most reputable company I've ever witnessed in my entire life. There was nothing wrong.
Right,
They did
right.
nothing wrong.
Nothing. No,
Like,
I'm
they
talking
were,
about Canada side.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were on the up and up. Like all 81 million
They
votes that
fixed
they
it all.
counted were real.
Oh, wow.
Every
Yeah.
vote.
It's there's a lot of things that they can do and control with the internet, and they lose a lot of control without it.
Yeah.
There's a pastor that I watch, Scott Ritzma. Um, he did an amazing series about media and how uh, everything from flicker rates and rates and changing what you're looking at quickly instead of just panning from thing to thing or watching someone read or us like this, we're talking.
Mhm.
But if you're flashing one scene, then another scene, then another scene, then another scene, you're able to really control people. There's a reason we've all got such short attention spans and why they're getting shorter. Well, at the same time, these media companies are pushing things like shorts where you got to get all your information in under a minute or else it's not
Right.
important,
Right.
you know? So,
I don't know. I mean, I again think that I think that and that could be why there is this huge push for mis and disinformation. I'm
mhm.
harmful disinformation. Like we know this. Like
Yeah.
I've been I've been struck. I've been channel takedown. Like I've heard it all. Like I am dangerous misinformation.
Yeah.
And and I think that's the next step is anything that's not from the approved,
Source. Yep.
source is dangerous disinformation or dangerous misinformation. And I I don't know. I don't know what comes next after that. But
Well, you guys were about, oh, I'd say 20, 30 years behind us on the socialism path. And then uh, COVID happened, and bam, just like that, you guys are catching right up to us. You're probably only maybe 10 years behind us now towards getting where we are. And you see where we are. Our own government is passing all sorts of censorship bills so that we cannot see what we want to see and look into the things we want to look into. They get to tell us what is safe for us to consume. And that's insane, but it's true. And you guys are really not that far away anymore.
I mean it's so crazy to limit what somebody's going to talk about.
Yeah.
Like that's so I mean it's so fundamentally un-American and everybody's like, "Yeah, fuck it. It's okay. We can give up a little bit more of our rights for um
A
we
little bit
didn't
more
we
security.
right. That's what I was going to say. We didn't have to exchange this one though. I think that's the part that trips me out the most.
hmm
We didn't have to trade this one for security. We traded it for a big scary virus. But
Yeah. Well, again, they're pulling shit now that they couldn't pull before because there was too many people around who remembered the other stuff. And the history books, all of a sudden we've got the internet and all of our history is being put online. Um, and the books are disappearing. When's the
yeah.
last time you went to your local library? When's the last time, those of you with kids, when's the last time they came home with a backpack just loaded down with textbooks? They
Hmm.
don't because it's all online. And once it's online, it can be manipulated by whoever's got the ability to do so.
Right.
So now that they've got people reliant on the internet to tell them the truth or facts, air quotes,
Yeah.
they've got a lot more control.
Yeah, and I mean they used to incorrectly write those textbooks and in
Exactly.
teaching. So I think they're making the jump is, it's not that far of a it's not that far of a
Exactly.
leap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm concerned for multiple aspects, and I think one of the aspects that I'm most concerned about is that we are we are quickly losing our ability to speak. And if we can't speak, we might as well just wrap it up.
Yeah, guns or no guns, if you can't speak to each other, how do you organize? And if you can't organize, then whatever the government's got is going to be good to stand up against pockets of people fighting back. You guys need the internet and phone lines and all that just as much as they do, so that when the shit hits the fan, you guys can organize and have a strong defense straight across the country.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm sure they will take it at some point. I think Venezuela was a good test run for that. Just as an aside, that whole country lost internet and lost power for just a little while there. That's kind of scary, but it's a good test run, you know.
They've done it a couple different ways, though, like in a couple different times to kind of see what works and what gets the least amount of resistance.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is you'll even get people that understand and get it, and like I don't know, explain how they understand it, but then they're like, oh no, it's just, it's just this. They're not really trying to kill us all. Like,
Yeah.
so they'll explain the entire process or thought process, and then be like, no, well, it's just because they're incompetent. No, they're intentional.
Exactly. Everything may not be connected. Like, there are such things as coincidences, but there are enough things. Someone told me once, if there is a major crisis, look to see who benefits, and you can usually walk it backwards. 9/11 was a really allegedly great test run, because now from this perspective, there's someone who did 9/11 in 5 minutes, and he used all of the media, their own words, and traced it. And it's amazing. They keep telling us in advance what they're going to do, and we keep being surprised. But again, the internet, it's a double-edged sword, because we hear it and we can do things like you and I are doing and discuss these things. You know,
we can, but then you're silenced, and you're,
so well,
kept at bay, and
there is that problem, but there are other ways to communicate, and we've just got to, use our brains as mostly Gen Xers. We still know how to do things. We don't rely on things to be done for us, or, things to be built for us. We need to start doing our research and learning how to do stuff. CB radios, maybe. Who knows? Landlines. I mean, hell, if we have to run our own landlines from, encampment to encampment or town to town, there are ways for us to get around it when the time comes. And, we're all on a list, Linda. That's for sure. I don't have kids, so I have the freedom. I don't have any dependents. I have the freedom to speak more clearly and freely than a lot of others do. So,
somebody told me candidly, they're like, that at this point they're like, somebody is assigned to watch you. You know that? And I'm like,
oh,
you're probably right. But so I'd like to say hello to my personal protective agent. I wear tinfoil hats I wear tinfoil hat on my head and my penis. So good luck trying to get through.
there you go.
You can't MK Ultra me. So
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's
No, I saw someone mentioning Faraday cages. These are things, these are technologies we know exist, and we still have the intelligence, the critical thought ability to figure it out and take care of these things. So we've just got to, maybe there's a way to hide hide yourself in the bush even from infrareds. You know, who knows? Um,
Right.
we could tunnel, for Pete's sakes. You know?
Hmm.
There's always ways. It just gets harder without the internet. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. But there's always a way. There's always a way to win, and you know, in the long
yeah.
run. So
Well,
your
and that's
watch is
just
very important.
that. There you go, Linda. Mine must just be, yeah. I don't go anywhere, so he must just be. Oh, my watcher is probably one of the junkies that lives in the cul-de-sac.
But that, I mean, then you think about that. You take it, if you take it 10% seriously. Like, yes, they're assigning somebody to at least monitor the group,
Mm,
let's say. How fucking ridiculous is that? None of us give a shit about doing
yeah,
anything harmful or hurting anyone or,
but
doing
that's
anything to
the
overthrow
thing.
the government. We
The
just want to be
knowledge that
left
we're
alone.
sharing, the conversations that we're having may put the ideas in someone else's head who does want to use it to take them down, you know,
Well,
or who has the ability to use it to take it down, rather. I mean, I would love to see the whole thing scrapped and start again from scratch, as libertarian as possible. The government is in charge of nothing but infrastructure and national security, you know, little things
I
like
would
that.
hate to see that happen. So none of you, not your part of it, the
Mm,
part where we take it down, So like,
yeah.
if if I inspire anyone to do anything, then I didn't do it because I
Not
would
on
never want
purpose.
that.
No.
Wink, wink.
Well, and when I say take it down, we can't do it. I mean, and here comes the Canadian. We can't do it with violence. We have to do it like
Oh,
the
sure we
truckers.
can.
Well, you can, but I would like to see it done with as little violence as possible. I think we can use the laws that are already um, on the books, have just been forgotten, or they've
Yeah.
been amended to within an inch of their life. Let's just get back down to bare bones
Hmm.
and start from there. That means a lot of people are going to lose their jobs in the government, but I'm not talking about Odessa or, something like that.
Yeah.
I really hope we
Neither
don't have to go the way of Ukraine.
neither am I, but I'm convinced we're gonna have to go that way. So um
And see, Peggy, for those of us who have faith in God, we know that in the very end of the day, He does win, and good does prevail, and all is well. We also know that the getting to that point just gets worse and worse and worse. But we know that there will be people, good people out there, right up into the day He does come again, and He puts it all away for final. So we have got that luxury that some people, like Mighty was saying, he doesn't have that faith um, in that ending, so he's not sure. Well, I won't put words in your mouth, but
yeah.
it must be different, because at least, like I said, I've got that. I know. But if you don't have that, what do you think? Or do you think we're just on a downward spiral? Do you think humanity can fix itself? Or
I so there's a couple new people here, a couple non-regulars to this specific program. So I guess
yeah, hi guys.
yeah, hey, what's up? Um I guess I will talk about me for a minute. So I am not religious in any way. Um I respect other people's views and opinions, but it's not for me. Like, it's not something I do. Um but I enjoy taking the thoughts and thinking about what's said and evaluating kind of what everybody's putting out there. But so I don't ever, like, I'm never upset with anybody for expressing their thoughts or viewpoints. I just it's just not my cup of tea, and I think that's okay for people that have different opinions. So
Exactly. If we didn't have differing opinions, then how would we have science? And I'm not talking the science, I'm talking actual science. The whole
right,
hypothesis, test, and prove, right? We have
right,
to have discussions, we have to have disagreements. Um, and we have to be able to agree to disagree at times and
yeah,
be okay with each other anyways. And I think that's the difference. Like that's the difference between the MAGA people and the Biden people. Because the MAGA people aren't even necessarily Trump people. It's the idea. It's the make America great again. So let's bring
yeah.
it back to the way it was when we were kids and it was great.
And I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, or however you want to see it, we've brought in a lot of people that are not strong conservative valued people.
Yep.
I mean, I guess that's okay, but um, it's kind of like my views on immigration. Like, it's fine if you want to come into the party, but we don't play shit California way. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like we don't do it that way. Like, this is the way that our party is, and you're not going to come in here and change ours to be the hell that you left. We want it to
Exactly.
be, you know, um, so I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah.
so
I'm just reading Joe Tato. You're Canadian too. Congrats and consolation. My consolations. It's yeah, it's half and half. I love my country. I love my province. I'm in BC. It's beautiful, but I don't trust anyone either. My favorite Canadian political person right now is Maxime Bernier. I think he's our closest thing to Trump. That being said, like Trump, I think he's just as dirty as all the rest of them. I think
yeah,
he's just saying the things that the most us normies and not just not us because we are aware of things, but the normies want to hear these things,
mhm,
and that's what Maxime Bernier is doing too. He's saying the things that the normies want to hear, the common sense stuff. Um, and anyone who thinks that Pierre Poilievre is going to save us is delusional.
yeah. Well, it's the chameleon politician. So you can be anything to anyone. So if somebody wants to hate you because you're racist, well, then you're racist. If somebody wants to love you because you're one of the guys or one of the people, well, then you're that. Or if somebody wants to, whatever, it's the chameleon politics game. And I think some people are very good at it. And
Yep.
Donald Trump kind of started the genre of the chameleon politic, and that's kind of what we have now. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think people were telling us one thing and doing another for a long time before Trump ever came into politics. I think he's such a great showman, though. He highlighted just how much of it can be, falsified and played with.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, Linda, I do too. I think Trump really does care about America. I believe he's playing on one of the globalist teams, one of the factions. Um, I've said it before, allegedly, I think he's working with Israel and that family. Um, but the thing that makes him different is he wants globalism to happen. He wants the new world order, but he wants America to be at the top and be in control. And so that's what he's after. And that's what the people are seeing. They see that he wants America to succeed and they're loving it. They don't see why he wants America to succeed. And they
right,
don't see that in order for America to succeed, a lot of us aren't necessary.
right, right.
So, yeah.
And I mean, I have a slightly different opinion. I think he's just part of the plan. No doubt, I think he loves America, and I am a big Donald Trump fan, but yeah, I don't think he's doing it all for us. So
Hmm. Gemstone is saying he thinks Trump owes his life to the mysteries and his card is being pulled for the big show. I
Could be.
agree. And I was just having a conversation this morning with someone who reminded me that the blood on the right ear and the blood on the big toe. Now we know that Trump lost his shoes. Did he lose his socks? Like I don't know, but that was a ritual done to ordain a priest. I believe it was Aaron,
Okay.
which was Moses' son, or sorry, Moses' brother Aaron was the first priest, and that's how he was ordained. Now people are
Gotcha.
saying that was Trump's symbolic ordaining. Someone else was saying he was just given a title, a prince of Israel, or something along those lines. I'd have to go and find it somewhere, but apparently Israel at least is acknowledging that as his right being fulfilled, so that he is now a priest
Mhm.
in some form. So, you know, it's I've got a buddy who knows an awful lot about symbology. He's
Okay.
looking into it and he's going to let me know just how much or how little symbology is within the actual assassination attempt. Because
Gotcha.
looking backwards, it's always easy to find stuff, whether it's there or not. But someone who knows what they're looking for, um, and my friend is very good at common sense and logic, and not being swayed by personal beliefs. So
Okay.
that's kind of nice. They're going to let me know if it's as bad as, say, the JFK, because that was full of symbology all over the place. His gravesite is symbolic,
Right.
even. So, like, yeah, I'm wondering just how much of that symbology is involved in Trump's assassination attempt. Um, and I will let you know when he finds out.
Yeah. I would love to hear about it. That
Yeah,
sounds fun. So, because
yeah.
I think there's more to this than
Oh,
meets the
for
eye,
sure,
of course,
for
on
sure.
many levels. But all right, let's get back to it because we're only
Okay.
7 minutes in. So
Okay,
this
listen to
is
this book though, guys.
this is a new record.
Sorry.
Continuing. These thousands had to be taken care of, and as a result, the Illuminati and its soul science work was born. When in April, now that's April of 1916, folks, April of 1916, remember that. When in April the order went forth to the brethren that a sacred convocation was to be held, all delegates were requested to prepare articles on soul science so that regular lecture sessions could be held. The lectures that follow are the result. All these lectures were given in open session and are to be considered as soul science work, though in entire harmony with the teachings of the Rose Cross Order. The work of the Rose Cross Order, as given to its students, can never be published. It is a secret, sacred work between teacher and student. Let me read that again for you. It is a secret, sacred work between teacher and student. It is a soul training, an inner initiation, and such work continues until the student has reached initiation, after which he is called upon to attend a convocation, and at which time the degree work is conferred upon him. But the inner work always precedes the outer work, as the outer work is only a bond binding together the brotherhood. Thus a word in explanation. Many having heard of the great order and its work, and actually knowing nothing of its inner work, have ignorantly or with fraudulent intent established so-called Rose Cross bodies. And these bodies, knowing nothing of the true work of the Rose Cross, have nothing but a ritualistic, initiatory, rite or degree work. We would refer all seekers to authorities on the Rose Cross and on initiation, and they will then find that the true Rose Cross is actually a school of spirituality with a degree ceremonial initiation as the climax. And this is signed by the Hierophant of the order. In the preface, early in the summer, instructions were received from the hierarchies to call the inner circle of the Rose Cross Order into session, and thus to fitly celebrate the 68th year of the Rose Cross Order in America. Orders were immediately issued to those who have the privilege of attending this convocation, and on June the 1st, 1916, the convocation was called to order and the preliminary lectures were started. At this convocation, all delegates were instructed to prepare and to deliver articles which should have a bearing on the conditions of the present day and which should be the means of helping humanity. However, because of the limited amount of time at the disposal of those who could attend, only a few were enabled to prepare such lectures, with the results that there were not as many lectures delivered as might have been had the delegates had more time at their disposal. But even so, there were from 2 to 3 lectures each day, and most of these lectures will be found in this present volume, though many of the lectures cannot be given in book form, as they were only delivered as from teacher to those of the inner circle. From the beginning of the month until the day of the 13th, there were lectures in the Assembly Hall, which had been built in 1910 for the express purpose of holding these yearly convocations. But on the 13th, there were no lectures, as all of the day was required for making the preparations necessary in order that the ancient mysteries might be given to the delegates in a form of symbolism consisting of 3 degrees. I can do no better than to give the article prepared by Grace K. Morey of Buffalo, New York, the secretary of the Rose Cross Sacred College for the Buffalo, New York papers, and which appeared in the Buffalo Express, July 16th, 1916. This is entitled Ancient Mysteries of Egypt Given in an Initiation of 3 Degrees. Pay close attention, folks, for what you're going to hear now confirms much of what I have been revealing to you in the series on the Hour of the Time known as the Mystery Schools. Quoting from the book once again, under the authority of the Rose Cross Order, founded in America in 1858, prominent delegates of the order were gathered in the most remarkable conclave held during the last 5,000 years, the publication of whose records now opens to the world the connection of Egypt in her ages of true religion, power, and glory with the mystic seal of the United States, whose heraldic symbolism declaring the mighty destiny of America has until now only been known to a limited number. Not anymore. At Beverly Hall, in the beautiful Tohickon Valley, about 4 miles from the town of Quakertown, men and women of all ranks of life and from all parts of the world, high masons and members of the Eastern Star, physicians, teachers, authors, and members of all denominations, inclusive of the Hebrew, all these assembled at the call of the Grand Master of the Rose Cross Order for the 68th convocation. And that should silence the cockroaches who are now scurrying from the light, who say that they are not all one order. They are known as the Brotherhood, the Order, the Ancient Order of the Rose and Cross, the Fraternity of Freemasons, and, of course, those of you who have been listening know the rest. Reading again from the book, some years ago, R. Swinburne Clymer, author of The Philosophy of Fire, Ancient Mystic Oriental Masonry, The Rosicrucians, Their Teachings, Mysteries of Osiris, Soul Science and Immortality, and over 30 other works, bought a mountainous tract of land, and on this was built, quote, Beverly Hall, unquote. An assembly hall, press rooms, and libraries and chemical laboratory, which surrounded by orchards, vineyards, and rose gardens, set in terraced lawns, presents with its collie kennels and poultry plants a splendid combination of the beautiful and the practical. To this has been added the mystic For in a secluded and wooded tract of 50 acres of this land, an artificial lake was made from a mountain stream, a throne room erected, and other improvements made which would be needed for the initiation of neophytes in the Egyptian mysteries. The convocation was called to order on June 1st in the Assembly Hall, built over 5 years ago for that purpose, and the delivery of a series of lectures upon practical as well as mystical subjects began and continued until the close of the convocation. The delegates and teachers presented the lectures, which were followed by discussions upon the subjects of eugenics, scientific motherhood, code of ethics for the schools and home, spiritual Christianity, that's a joke, personal hygiene, diet and health, sin, authority and individuality, Jacob's ladder, initiation, reincarnation, soul development, the second coming of the Christ, and the mystic significance of the seal of the United States. In the time of Solomon, as in the time of the Egyptian priesthood, no ceremony was ever held unless the circle of Solomon, commonly called the sacred seal of Solomon, had been previously prepared. But since the fall of Egypt and of the Temple of Solomon, this seal has been practically unknown, except to a limited number of students of ancient religions and mysteries. Folks, the seal of Solomon is not the six-pointed star which is on the flag of Israel. It is not the seal of David or the Star of David. It is not the seal of Solomon, as you will soon discover. During the first week in June, in the Grove, especially prepared for the dramatization of the ancient mysteries of Osiris, the seal of Solomon, often called the magic circle, was especially built, and on June 11th, the dedication of the magic circle took place in the presence of the delegates of the Rose Cross Order, some of whom were natives of Germany, England, and Russia. This was in accordance with the system as practiced by the ancient priests of Egypt and the Sanhedrin of the Temple of Solomon. On the night of June 13th, the first session of the class, including those of the order taking part in the initiation, assembled in the Grove of Osiris, which was illuminated by electricity from a central powerhouse, especially prepared for the purpose, and the initiation of the ancient mysteries of Egypt in 3 degrees and 6 scenes. All students of the ancient mysteries and religions know that in the Temple of Solomon there were 3 courts. The outer court for the people being composed of 700 selected teachers and leaders. These were members of the first degree, Illuminati called also seekers, travelers, or soldiers. The middle court, or members of the second degree, were 70 in number and were supposed to be in the hall of meditation and acted as mediators between the people and the inner sanctuary. Above all was the inner court, or circle of the 7 priests and the master or high priest, who were the teachers between God and man, mediators between the seen and the unseen. In the Egyptian mysteries, the first court was made up of the royal youth of Egypt, and such students from foreign countries as desired to enter the temple and priesthood, and these during probation were often known as, quote, soldiers of the priesthood, unquote, as it was their duty while undergoing the preliminary training and tests to guard the priesthood and its work even to the death. The second class, corresponding to a second degree, were those who had passed this test and who were in the hall of meditation and purification in preparation for the first vows and the dedication of the body, mind, soul, and spirit to God and the service of mankind. The third class, called the third degree, were those who had passed with credit the tests of the first degree, the purification of the second, as well as the various stages of development required of all students in the halls of meditation. In the royal third degree, which took place in the temple, the neophyte received the final instruction. After this came the final test in the beautiful ceremony of the death of the old life, the giving up of the body and its temptations, and the raising of the slain Osiris, our spiritual body, by his faithful spouse Isis, the soul, with the final illumination. On the 15th of June, the first section of the representatives left Beverly Hall for their respective homes, and the second section began to arrive for the preparatory lectures. And on the 19th of June, the ceremonies were repeated so that all might witness the initiation and take part in it so as to become members. So far as can be learned, either through travel or history, never before since the fall of Egypt and its priesthood and the fall of the Temple of Solomon has there ever been a grove, a lake to represent the Nile, a magic circle, or a temple prepared, nor is it believed that anywhere in the world does there today exist such a circle. Nearest to this, however, is Stonehenge of the Druids of Britain, to which their descendants travel each year at a certain time to greet the sun and renew their vows. This is the first time, therefore, in 5,000 years that any order has attempted to build up this sacred emblem under the stately oak so that people of modern civilization might witness the beauties of the life and religion of the ancient people whose teachings of individual soul development made the glory of Egypt, the lost dreams of all Israel, the teachings of the Magi of Persia, all that was true in India, the splendid philosophy of Greece, the magnificence of the early Romans, the basis of pre-Christian Ireland's great schools, as well as the familiar Holy Grail legends of Britain, Celt, and Gaul. In this light of brotherhood of man and fatherhood of God was founded this great republic foretold by Virgil, upon whose seal is set the Egyptian pyramid, completed by the white stone of spiritual purification as the crown of the ages. It's time for our break, folks. Don't go away, for I'll be right back after this very short pause.
We'll take a short pause too.
All right.
Heard him talking about the pyramids and the powerhouse in the pyramid and so on and so forth. The pyramids have always fascinated the absolute hell out of me.
Me too.
I want to go in one so bad.
I'm more interested in the pyramids that they have discovered around the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Those are the really interesting ones to me.
Well, I've been to the ones in Yucatan in Mexico.
Oh, cool.
Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Well, that's just it. They're so intricate and technical and massive. And there's how would people who are supposedly our inferiors be able to do such things? It's got stuff in it that we don't even know how to do. We don't even know how to use it.
Well, not even that. They say it's just a monolith. It's just what's the word I'm looking for? Just like a tribute to people.
Yeah.
It's just something. There's a specific word I'm looking for, and I can't think of it. But there's just they're just supposed to be monuments. They're just supposed to be there because they're there, and
Mhm.
I don't buy that.
People made those things. People went to an awful lot of effort to build those things. And yeah, I don't think it was just to, build up the ego of whichever pharaoh was, in charge.
Right.
There's too much involved with them. Um, yeah, I've heard that they're from above they look like computer chips, or that people can connect them. I don't know. I've heard all sorts of stories, and I would love to go and look at some for myself to really explore.
Yeah. No, I want to go to the ones in Egypt because those seem to be the
Foundation of the world.
kind of the main event, so to speak.
Mhm.
there had to be a purpose. There had to be some kind of purpose or use or something for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that they were built all over the world by different people without the internet. How on earth could so many different peoples with, supposedly different everything's manage to build such similar monoliths to, you know, to each other? It's amazing. It's too coincidental for me.
Right, right, for sure. Um,
Mhm.
I I just there has to be more to it. There has to be more to it, and they're so closely guarded by people that aren't great.
Mhm.
Uh, that there's no like. Of course, they're heavily restricted, and you can't get into them and all that. But that makes them even more like I would really like to. So
Exactly. Well, and I was thinking, no, Peggy, I have not read the Book of Enoch yet. I need to get through the Bible completely and understand it a little bit better before I go reading other books. Um, that being said, if we thought about it, if creation is the correct one and not evolution, then creation says that we're, somewhere between 6, 8, 10,000 years old total, right?
mhm,
Um, when he had Noah build the ark and the great flood happened, and finally the waters receded, everything that was on the surface of the water or of the surface of the earth prior to that was lifted up and floated around with the waters and was thrown down wherever it was when the waters receded. Also, we do have actual proof that at one time there was a land bridge between, say, me over here, BC, Canada, and Russia,
mhm.
and major land bridges that were there and in use. And all of a sudden, the earth is shaking and stuff, and these land bridges are now underwater. And from my understandings, I think it's quite possible that that was it's all one and the same. It was Noah and God with his floods. That's what took out the land bridges and made us the continents that we are now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, there's so much that just goes into. There's so much that we have no idea about. Like, there's so many questions, and um, I think it's I think it's part of the current time is we've kind of lost that will to kind of explore and to kind of learn new things and yeah, like kind of push the boundaries and try and find something that we know is out there. We don't have that same we don't have that same spirit to explore or find it or
well,
um,
we've been, whether we know it or not, us, our ancestors, we've been enslaved in one way or another. Just as civilization evolves, whether it's being done by these evil, faceless groups that are trying to control the whole world, or whether it's, completely coincidental and happenstance. Um, it, sorry, I kind of lost my thought there. I was reading something else.
no,
I
you're
saw
good.
Jeff Bridges and I went, boo. Even Jeff Bridges was there. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's quite quite likely that we've been dumbed down for so long that, you know, we don't know how dumbed down we've really been.
Right.
So, I agree, Linda, uh, when the Tower of Babel was knocked to the ground, God split up all the peoples and made us all speak in different languages and threw us all across the earth. Um, and I do believe that is part of. Oh, sorry. I think the flood broke up one big piece of land and moved them away from each other. Well, yeah, I think all these fault lines and stuff that they're complaining about and they're worried about, and the big one that's always going to hit Vancouver but hasn't yet. Um, I think it all works together. I think that the idea of the flood and these fault lines and I think it's all one. It's just how people want to perceive it in their own head. Um, but that's I think why we've got dinosaur bones in Alberta. You know, I think that's probably why there's these pyramids all across the world is because these people share a similar base knowledge of things and how things work. They may not be able to discuss with each other anymore if it is as the Bible says, and God made us all speak different language so we couldn't understand each other. Um, that would make sense then if suddenly we're flung all across the earth in different groups. We still have that same base knowledge, um, but then we evolve from that point.
Yeah.
And that would make a lot of sense as to why there are such similar buildings like these pyramids, like Stonehenge. There are such similar things all around the world. How could it
Mhm.
possibly be so if everyone's coming up separately? Well,
True. Very true. Speaking of your previous the floods and everything,
mhm.
we might be in store for some more of that. I don't know if you saw this today, but it's worth since we're talking about disaster. Did you see this?
No.
Yellowstone, which is a super
Yeah.
volcano caldera, is kind of getting pissed off. So I was literally
Ooh.
3 weeks ago. I walked down this same exact path because I felt this water right here.
Wow.
So
Yeah, people run. Wow.
and I mean this would be absolutely devastating.
Let me go first so I can make sure stuff's stable. Walk right where I'm walking.
I mean that's crazy.
Everybody wants to move out of here.
Like that's so there's like a waterfall to the right. The parking lot's in the back here. This is kind of a raised platform where you walk across the river, across the bridge, and then up. And I literally just walked this path like 3-4 weeks ago,
Wow.
We don't know how safe this
and it did not look like that.
This could be
No.
really, really dangerous. Feel free to grab my hand. Hey,
Wow.
I'm
but
sure I
just
have
keep
a
moving. Unless there's big holes,
from
follow
there.
that guy in the St. Louis City.
Well, shit. Maybe we won't have to worry about our one continuous unguarded border crossing because there's going to be a ginormous fault line to keep us separate.
I'm shaking.
Well, this would be a volcano.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
God swore there would never be again a flood the size of the flood that Noah had to build the ark for. He promised that would never happen again. So, yeah, heat, fire, explosions, that plays right into it as far as my understanding is.
I mean, this wouldn't be a. I'm trying to find because I
Jake,
legitimately. Yeah, right here. I was legitimately just right here. So,
Yeah.
I'll show you what it looked like before. It's kind of nuts. There you go. That's what it looked like before.
Well, geez, yeah. Pretty.
I mean, you can see the same thing. You can see that path to the right. You can see the thing in the
Yeah.
the parking lot in the back there. I'm just on this side of it instead of on the other side of it where those
yeah.
people are. But that's the same spot that just
Wow.
literally exploded. So
Were there anyone talking about recent abnormalities while you were there?
no.
Fantastic.
I mean, from the limited reporting I've seen on it so far, they didn't even say anything about it today. And I mean, obviously there are people out there, and the National
Yeah.
Park Service monitors it. So if anything was to go funky, then I'm sure they would have done something.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. It's very strange that something like that happened and they didn't know it was coming, at least enough to keep the people at bay.
Keep people.
Usually these days, the seismology equipment should be able to tell you something like that's coming long before it comes.
Right. So this would have been. This is looking the other way. So this is on that pathway that they were just walking, looking the other way. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, fire this time, and it does look so serene and beautiful. It's crazy. Actually, you know what? On that note, I was reading. There's fire. It's fire season again. There's Jasper National Park, Banff National Park. There's a lot of fires out there, and that's all connected into Yellowstone. It's all the same range of mountains and forests. That's just our side of it. But it's quite interesting because BC was turning people away at the border. We're not allowing Albertans to come into BC to get away from the fire. We're making them do a U-turn and drive back past the fires again and go back the way they came and back into Alberta. So I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was, kind of strange, but that, fires and stuff, that's all the same range in the global scheme of things. Yeah, that's all connected.
So this is the other. So that's up in this corner is where that thing kind of exploded. So this is that same pathway. This is just from another direction. So.
Wow. Yeah, see, and we didn't, or at least I haven't heard anything about that. That didn't come up on any of my news feeds.
And it's by one of the more famous areas. I'll show this and then I'll stop. This is the prismatic pole. So.
Oh, okay.
Really pretty. So this is all teal and orange and yellow. And then it has all the algae and stuff growing, bacterias that make the different colors. But
we've got one of those in the general area that I live in. There's a polka dotted lake. Same phenomenon. It's just the different minerals and whatnot.
Gotcha.
But it looks polka dotted, but all the different colors. It's quite cool.
Just throw a squirrel in the combo. Will you do a stream and update on Boeing Starliner if there is one? I haven't seen a single thing about it. NASA did the one that's stuck in space.
Oh, right.
I'll look, but I haven't seen a single thing about it. Not a single thing. They should have been back, or should be coming back at some point.
I thought Elon had to go and save them.
Well, Cygnus is going up, and they're going to have to move for Cygnus.
Oh.
So.
Yeah. Oh, what a fun time to be an astronaut.
Earthbound testing of the spacecraft thrusters was recently completed. So as of yesterday, they completed it, but now they have to put it into a mission return. So, it says it could take place at the end of this month. So I'll do some look into it, but the reason we haven't had an update is because there hasn't been an update at all, not even remotely. So, but if I see anything, certainly I'll give you an update. But there hasn't been anything. So, but I'll keep an eye on it.
Wow, I can't imagine being stuck on a space station that's slowly losing altitude and no one can get you off again.
Coming down in 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess they'll get off within that time.
Yeah,
one way or
hopefully.
another. Yes, Linda, we are definitely going to have to pray. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So yeah, I'll definitely do another look at it, but there just hasn't been anything at all. They've just been waiting on the engine testing. So, but all right, we have sidetracked all to hell. So let's get back because we're only still halfway, and so.
All right.
Well, I see some of you still have not called Swiss America Trading Corporation, and I can't help but wonder why not. What's holding you back? You profess to really get good, solid information from this show. You are all concerned about the coming economic collapse, and it is coming. You want to know how to protect your assets, and we've done everything we can to get you to call Swiss America Trading so that you can prepare for what's coming. Now, they have all the recommended investments that we've given you on this program. They have some that we don't recommend, and they have some that we don't know anything about. It's your money. You have to decide what you're going to do with it. But what I'm telling you, folks, is we've checked these people out. We've checked out Swiss America Trading. They're just like you and I. They're patriots. They care about this country. They backed this show when no one else would have done it. They need your business, and you need their help to survive the coming economic trauma. So pick up the phone right this moment. Don't wait. Pick it up now. Call Swiss America Trading at 1-800-289-2646. That's 1-800-289-2646. Do it now. Do it right this moment, and invest the time it takes to read one of the most important publications that you'll ever get in your hands, chock full of information. All you have to do, folks, is mention my name, William Cooper, and ask for the information on protecting your future. Call now, 1-800-289-2646. That's 1-800-289-2646. You'll be glad that you did. In the winter, far beneath the snow, lies a seed that with the sun's love becomes the rose. Only those of you who have listened to the full series of broadcasts on the hour of the time of the mystery schools will understand exactly what that means. And you will know and have an entirely different understanding of that song, which is beautiful, to say the least, but does not convey the message that many of you have always thought you heard. You see, the mystery schools speak to each other in symbology, in a symbolic language that they have learned to use over the millennia to hide their real secrets, their real intent, their real work, which has always been from the beginning to reestablish on this earth an ancient government ruled by a council of wise men, a benevolent despotism, a one-world totalitarian socialist government. Don't ever forget that, folks. If you love being free, the New World Order utopia is not for you. And it certainly is not for me. Continuing now from the book entitled Fundamental Laws, the publication of a report of the 68th Convocation of the Rose Cross Order, during which they admit the existence of the Illuminati, they admit the existence of the Order, they admit the existence of the Brotherhood, they admit that all of these secret organizations, including Freemasonry, are all the same organization, all working toward the same goal. An incredible admission printed in their own publication, a hardbound book found up on a dusty shelf way back in the rear corner of an old used bookstore. Such is the work of the Citizens Agency for Joint Intelligence, CAGI. You too can become a member by sending $45 to William Cooper, Post Office Box 1420. That's Post Office Box 1420. Sholo, SHOWLOW. That's Sholo, Arizona, 85901. That's $45 for your membership to William Cooper, Post Office Box 1420, Sholo, Arizona, 85901. Also, I need to tell you, folks, Stan has retired. Please don't call his number. Please do not write or send orders to his old address. Stan got tired, and I don't blame him, and he has retired for the third or fourth time and probably the last. Stan did some incredible work for our cause and our organization. We've always loved him. We will always love him. He will always be in our hearts.
But don't call him.
And we will, of course, miss him. Quoting again from the book. The American constellation of 13 stars, set in the form of a double triangle, was foretold by Merlin of King Arthur's court, and the philosophy of the Holy Grail and of Egypt's glory and Solomon's temple has been the day star of every great American statesman from Washington to Abraham Lincoln. Now, if you've been listening to this program, you know the day star is a reference to Lucifer, the light bringer, the angel of light, the morning star, also known as the son of the morning. After the ceremonies in the grove, there was given in the dining room of Beverly Hall at midnight a feast of the gods, at which neither meat nor spices formed part of the menu, but only fruits, nuts, and other products of sun-kissed foods. And that should tell you something about sun-kissed oranges. The conclusion of the rites was held at sunrise in the grove with a musical communion service at which nectar of roses distilled from the 30,000 roses blooming each June upon the lawns at Beverly Hall was served as emblematic of the wine of the soul, and for this service the rose bushes were planted several years ago. This is also from the book, folks. I wish that all the readers of this book might have been present at the preparation, at the building, and at the dedication of this ancient magic circle. Or I wish that I might be able to give a detailed description of these sublime ceremonies in this book. However, I cannot do this here, though I hope that in some future work I will be able to do so. Sufficient be it to say that when the stone made out of cement by one of the brothers was nearly finished, the dedication took place, and the emblems placed in the stone itself before it was completed were the American Beauty Rose in full bloom. This as a representation or symbol of the soul that has reached full illumination. The mystic ring. This was a solid gold ring belonging to one of the members present, upon which had been engraved the cross and the pentagram. All members of the Magi will know what this symbol stands for. The ring itself, as is known to the Magi, is a protecting agent against all evil or malignant influences when worn during any ceremonial or developing work. And the true magic mirror.
Real quick, Dutch. So Dutch, if you don't know, he's great. Thanks for the message. I didn't even think about it, but Dutch has been through some shit for trying to expose that, one, you can predict earthquakes, and two, that they're doing weather modifications. Like, he has been through some shit, like taking down his internet, and like that guy has been through hell. Yeah, he was off the internet for a while. Like, it's been a crazy ride. I've watched him for a couple of years now.
Interesting.
But yeah, he's worth watching. He's worth checking out if you're into that.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before, but I mean, if they're trying to keep him off the internet, then being in Canada, that's probably why I haven't heard of him.
Right. All right, I just wanted to mention that real quick. We'll go
No
back.
worries.
This is an emblem of the soul, which when fully developed will act as a mirror to the universe, wherein may be wisdom and truth. Lastly, a complete copy of the private textbook entitled, quote, Ritualistic Occultism, unquote, which contains the ceremonies as made use of by the Magi. And 4 of these ceremonials were made use of by 4 of the Magi in the dedication of the magic circle. When all of this had taken place, the stone was completed, and then later in the day the characters were engraved upon the stone by the brother who had completed the stone. Of the midnight feast to the gods, and of the morning services which took place in the grove, it is not lawful for me to speak at this time. But it is my sincere prayer that all who are enrolled in the sacred schools may someday be present with us and witness these sublime ceremonies, especially as they are conferred in the spring of the year. In the spring of the year. Arrangements were made by the delegates present through voluntary contributions to either buy another large grove, or if that is found impracticable, to build a much larger hall in the Grove of Osiris, so that advanced ceremonies may be held the coming spring at the 69th convocation of the Rose Cross Order. Now I'm going to reveal something to you that I have never told you before on this program. I've been working up to it, and now is the time to tell you before I read from the next section of this book. For then you will understand what has been happening in the last 50 years and what is happening now. It was Harry Truman, a 33rd degree Freemason, who signed the United Nations Treaty, who pushed through and signed the United Nations Participation Act. It was also Harry Truman, a 33rd degree Freemason, operating in concert with Wild Bill Donovan, the head of the OSS, a member of the Sovereign and Military Order of the Knights of Malta and of the Order of the Knights Templar, who created the National Security Act, pushed it through Congress. Harry Truman signed it. It created the umbrella of national security, a curtain of secrecy. It created the Central Intelligence Agency, and behind this curtain of secrecy, the secret societies have been working to destroy the sovereignty of all nations and bring about a one-world totalitarian socialist government. And folks, all of the bugaboo enemies that you've been afraid of all your life were never enemies at all. For these were deceptions, manipulations. The only enemy, folks, that the people of the world have ever had is right here in this country, down at the corner in your town, in the temple that has no windows. And now reading again from the book, the report from the 68th convocation of the Order of the Rose Cross. Introduction to the Great Seal. It is rather a strange and an unknown thing for one to write an introduction to a single chapter appearing in a book, but the conditions are so unusual as to warrant it. More than a year ago, Grace K. Morey, the author of the article, The Great Seal of the United States and Its Mystic Significance, prepared a sketch for a short primer of the Illuminati teachings. And in this sketch, as will be shown by the drawings, it was brought out that man is not only a threefold being, but that he is actually a fourfold being as well. In short, that when he has succeeded in reaching soul illumination, he is the completed pyramid or true triangle. If the student will give serious study to the article on the seal of the United States, he will find that on the reverse side of the seal, which is as yet uncut, there is to be found the pyramid, but with the capstone as yet not placed, and thus he will see that the philosophy of the Illuminati is the absolute and undeniable philosophy upon which these United States are founded, as is clearly indicated by our fourfold philosophy, by the drawings representing our philosophy, and by the drawings of the reverse side of the United States seal. And thus it would appear that the unseen hierarchies which shaped the foundation of the great republic, which must someday rule the world, are the same hierarchies which gave us the soul science philosophy as taught by the Illuminati. And now you know why what has happened in this country has happened, and you now know why what is happening today is happening, and you now know why on the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States are the words Novus Ordo Seclorum, which literally translated means the new order of the ages, also known, ladies and gentlemen, as the New World Order. But I won't let you rest with that shock. Listen to this, dear listeners. Hold on to your chairs, because the incredible admission that is coming to you right out of the pages of this book is going to knock you flat. Reading again from the book. And thus, it would appear that the unseen hierarchies which shape the foundation of the great republic, which must someday rule the world, are the same hierarchies which gave us the soul science philosophy as taught by the Illuminati. And now let us look into the future, not far, but just beyond the line. We find that scholars condemn the design of the reverse side of the United States seal, that it has never been cut, but has remained hidden as though it were something to be ashamed of. However, though this appears the truth, it is not the truth. The reason why it has never been cut is because the time is not yet, as the capstone has not yet been set. And what is this capstone? My reader, prepare for a shock. When Atlantis ruled the world, that which is now America was connected with Egypt by what is now Mexico, and in Mexico and the territory of Yucatan, there is a pyramid in which the fire philosophers worshipped God as divine fire and life in like manner as did the initiates of Egypt, for the two were then one. America is not complete and will not be complete, cannot be complete until Mexico is again part of America as she was in the long ago. And when Mexico is once again a part of the United States, then will the capstone have been set on the pyramid, and the reverse side of the United States seal will be cut. Thus you will see that the soul science primer with its drawings is but the beginning of the article concerning the seal of the United States, while the article on body, mind, spirit, and soul is the final thereof.
I missed something there.
Well, I'm just wondering, Mexico is going to be the capstone to the pyramid of America. Well, what about us? Are we like one of the corners? What do we not count? Are we part of the corner of someone else's pyramid? And if so, whose?
Right. Like I thought America was kind of a big deal. Like,
yeah. And now they can't do anything without Mexico.
I definitely missed something there, or I don't know. We'll keep going. See if he.
May it not be long until the Holy Pyramid shall be completed, and may it be completed without the shedding of blood. Lovingly given, R. Swinburne Clymer, Beverly Hall, Quakertown, Pennsylvania, July 6th, 1916. And now you know the final truth, ladies and gentlemen. Now you know the purpose of the free trade agreements. Now you know the purpose of GATT and NAFTA. Now you know where we're headed. Now you know that the middle class in this country is doomed. Now you know that the New World Order is being brought about by the intelligence community and the secret societies whose headquarters are in the United States of America, just 13 blocks from the White House. Now you know, in the incredible admissions in their own writing in this book published by the Ancient Order of the Rose and Cross, now you know that the Illuminati is real, that Freemasonry is a part of the Illuminati, that the Rose and Cross is a part of the Illuminati, that they are all also called the Order, the Brotherhood, that they also consist of the Knights Templars, they also consist of the Knights of Malta and all of the other secret societies whose organizational structure is in the shape of a pyramid, with a few at the top who really know what the great work and the great plan is, and a whole bunch of slathering idiots thirsting after the secrets on the bottom who will never, ever know anything. Are the cockroaches scattering? If this broadcast doesn't do it, nothing will. If this doesn't wake you up, ladies and gentlemen, nothing will. If you don't understand now the 18 hours of the series that I've aired on the Mystery Schools, you will never understand it now or in the future. If you don't know where we're headed now, then you never will. If you are not concerned now, then you have already placed the chains upon your ankles and you have already watched freedom fly. If this broadcast does not do it, nothing will. This is the last voice of freedom. This is the only revelatory media source in the world today. The hour of the time is the only outlet for truth left upon this earth. Ladies and gentlemen, what you have heard tonight is the final parting of the curtain. It is the opening of the last door that was to be opened. It is the final understanding of where we have been, where we are at, and where we are going. It is the light. It is the illumination in the darkest corners. You are looking at the forbidden fruit. You have heard tonight what you were never to hear, what has been forbidden for thousands of years. You now know what the great work is. You now know who is bringing it about. You too can find this book if you search hard enough, and the incredible admissions that are contained within it will give you the ammunition and the armor to march out here on the battlefield with me and many others who are trying to stop what is coming. Remember what Mr. Swinburne said at the end of his article, and I'll read that to you again. May it not be long until the Holy Pyramid shall be completed, and may it be completed without the shedding of blood. Lovingly given, R. Swinburne, Clymer, Beverly Hall, Quakertown, Pennsylvania, July 6th, 1916. And I am telling you now, their goal is to destroy all other religions save theirs, destroy all existing nation states save theirs, and shackle the mob, and that is you. Good night, dear listeners, and God bless you all.
I really missed something. All I can think, though, is build the wall. Is that what we're supposed to take out of that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to that because I think I might have missed something too. I was being jokey on something else, but
Good, it wasn't
Yeah.
just me.
No, Mexico is the cornerstone of the mystical pyramid that, once put together, will give them the ultimate power to um, succeed, I guess, in this global domination, one world order. I believe
But
that's.
Mexico's the easiest to take. It's a corrupt shithole. Like, sorry if you're from Mexico, but it is. Been there. Like, it is a corrupt shithole.
I don't know.
Um, so if there's anywhere in the world that they probably already have control of, it would be Mexico. So I had to have missed
Maybe,
something.
yeah, maybe it's a part of Mexico that they cannot control. Like maybe it's a touristy spot or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
they
have
talked
to.
about the Yucatan, so I'll
Yeah,
go back and listen to it too.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I'm very
That's
confused.
that's true too. Momosaurus Rex is saying most of the U.S. was once Mexico, so it does kind
Good.
of make sense.
Make the U.S. Mexico again.
Make America mystical again.
um, yeah, I don't
Hi,
know.
Bobby.
I don't know. I miss as if it's not corrupt here. I didn't say we're not corrupt here. This, I mean, we're undergoing multiple coups right now.
Mhm.
Uh, multi-level coup. Um, so I'm not saying we're not. I'm just saying Mexico has been for a while.
Mhm.
Um, was it Mexico established by Spain? I would assume so.
Yeah, I thought so because they're the ones that discovered the native tribes.
Yeah, I would assume so.
That's true too, Momosaurus Rex. I wonder if Mexico per se has their own faction in this globalist game.
Could be.
I don't know.
Would
I'm
that be
only just
nuts?
starting to look into Japan and who may or may not be um, a part of their faction because there must be more than just one Asian faction. And yeah, I'm finding a lot of information thanks to well, a friend of ours, Max. Max has sent me a lot of stuff that has really helped. Um, but yeah, maybe there is a faction run by not specifically Mexico, but Spain. Um, that would
Yeah,
that would probably take us back to Rome again.
different power
Um,
brokers.
yeah, the Pope. Just as an aside, the Pope has been talking to the powers that be about reintroducing sun worship to the
Hmm.
Catholic faith. He's talking about the sun in the sky. Um, but that's just going to harbor in that same green Sabbath, um, which will force everyone to rest on Sunday and work on Saturday, which is it's a fear for anyone who thinks the Sabbath really is Saturday. That's kind of been the big fear. Um, waiting for that, waiting for the forced worship on a day other than the Sabbath and the forced work on the Sabbath day. Um, so that's kind of interesting as well.
Hmm.
We're going to push it for the climate change issue. We're going to take a global day of rest each week to save the earth by worshiping the sun. And yeah, we're gonna choose Sunday since everyone worships on Sunday anyway, right?
Well, I mean, it's the sun's day, so it can do what it wants.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh, there's a whole lot of problems with the current pope. He's the first a Jesuit ever to be pope, um, which is huge in and of its own self. He may very well be one of the antichrists mentioned, um, or the one to introduce the false Christ. Could be. Yeah, I all I know is that he is special in a billion different ways that no one wants you to talk about or think about.
I
And yet,
agree with Momosaurus Rex that the Pope is completely not a normal Pope.
yep,
I again know nothing about religion. I think the Pope's Catholic, right?
yep,
I assume.
yeah,
I know nothing about Catholicism, religion, very, very little. What I've learned in the last 20 episodes of this program is about the extent of my knowledge. And I know that this Pope is not normal.
yeah, yeah. There's all sorts of stuff happening around the world that if you know to look for it, you can see it happening. And that's again, brings it back for me to this past week with with everything that's gone on with the assassination attempt straight up to today. We don't know if Biden is alive or dead. Is that a clone or a double, or is that really him? There's so much that we don't know, and we're all looking at each other and pointing fingers. I need to know what's going on in the world right now that no one's talking about,
Yeah.
because that's got to be the important bit. We just got to figure out what it is that we're not talking about.
I mean, we're getting distracted from something. That's for damn
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It could be what I put up on the screen. This is if Yellowstone decides to go, this is the thickness and millimeters of volcanic ash that will be covered in. Myself and yourself will be in that 3 to 10 millimeters. I believe. I don't know. Maybe
Wow.
not. And then this kind of epicenter will be 1,000 millimeters of volcanic ash. So,
Wow. And wow. Okay, just a sec here because I had to. Oh shit! Now I totally minimized it. I need to full screen it so I can see properly.
I don't know if you're in 3 to 10 or 10 to 30.
Calgary. Um. Yeah. No, I think I'm good. Calgary is close to me, and that's 30 to 100.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So we're getting. Yeah, I'd probably be in the 10 to 30.
Okay. So you get more
Yeah.
than me. I'm in the 3 to
Yeah.
10. So
Yeah. Well, and then it depends which way the wind blows too.
that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah. Oh well, what's a little ash, right? In between
Mhm.
friends. I don't remember. I don't think I was around for it, or else I was so little. I don't remember it. But there was a volcanic eruption that caused ash to land all over BC. Oregon was covered with it, Portland, because
Uh,
we've got a little vial of that ash. It was from a family vacation that way.
That's
I
cool.
can't.
Huh.
Yeah, I cannot remember. It would have been like the very early 80s. And I can't for the life of me remember the name of the mountain because that's the way my brain works. I remember it happened, but I can't tell you what mountain it was, but it was definitely West Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't think of the mountain.
The only one coming
Somebody
to
will
me
tell
is
me.
Baker, but Baker is not a volcano.
No, it was hang on.
What's a millimeter? I went to public school. That's there you go. Mount St. Helens. Thank you,
Mount
Realm
St. Helens.
Dweller.
There you go. I was
Thank
getting
you.
close.
Yeah, we went on a family vacation, and that was a little kitschy memento that we brought back. Was that time we got ash from the volcano, and one time we got dust from the original Oregon Trail. We've got
Oh,
little
that's really
vials of
cool.
everything. Yeah.
Huh. It's really neat.
1980. So yeah, I would have been baby.
Well, there are, what is there, 22.6? I should know this. There's 22 millimeters in an inch. 22.268, something like that. 4.
Okay, now you're just saying numbers.
Let me see. Inch to, I want to be accurate. 25.4. Damn, I was way off. This is why we have calculators. 25.4 millimeters in an inch.
Okay.
So Digger will get about an inch.
There you go. Yeah. Amazing. Had the date exactly May 18th, 1980. He lived in Washington at the time. So yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I know we saw it got dark and we found ash across BC. So, but I don't think it
Wow.
was very much.
Yeah, this one's gonna be pretty devastating when it finally decides to go.
This is the big one that I was joking about when we first moved to the coast from the interior when we were little kids. My mom was so scared to move to Vancouver because of the big one that was coming and it was going to put us all underwater. And they've been, crying about it ever since. Oh no, the big one's coming, and it hasn't come. Hasn't come for 40 years now. It still hasn't come. So when it does, it's going to really reshape the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is it. This is all the same fault line.
Well, and not only that, then you have the Cascadia subduction zone in California. So that whole side of the country might actually fall into the ocean.
Yeah, there's a reason they say it's going to sink into the ocean because it's scientifically it's plausible. It wasn't just a hope or a wish. It is plausible. But yeah, a whole lot of shaking has to happen first. So
true.
We'll see.
Very true.
Yeah.
But all right. So we're at our 2 hours.
Sounds
and
good.
I have to go back and watch the last couple minutes because I completely missed it. 100% missed something.
No
I know
worries.
I did. So.
No worries. But yeah, thanks you guys for being here again tonight.
Yeah.
I really like this.
As always, it's a lot of fun. Bobby, it will probably happen now with how wonky everything has been. It's gonna get wonkier, my friend.
Yeah.
It's gonna get wonkier. So it's gonna get crazy. So yeah. Keep your head up because shit's getting weird and it's gonna get weirder.
Yeah, make sure you've got enough stuff to take care of yourself and everyone in your household for at least 3 months. And that's that's the best you can do.
Right.
Make sure you can eat and drink. I've been under water boil advisory all summer. It's been crazy. We keep having to boil our water because they're doing the piping for the city. They finally made it to the ghetto. But it really surprised me just how much water I go through in a day and how much it hurts me to not be able to just go to the tap.
Yeah, that would suck.
I didn't realize my water storage, like for in case of emergency, was nowhere near what I need it to be. So, it's a good way to learn. If you think you've got enough water, get more.
Get more. Yeah, always. If you think you have enough of anything, double it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, as always, say what? 2 hours in.
I'm not saying
the N word. You missed it. I said it at 1:40.
Yeah.
Go back and watch, Bob. So, but with that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. There'll probably be something batshit crazy that's going to happen tonight into tomorrow. So, that'll probably what I'll be doing tomorrow. So, because that just seems like the world's gonna treat me that way, at least for the time being. So.
Well, at least until election is over.
Right. So
Yeah.
at least until the end of November. So, but all right, y'all. Y'all have a good night, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, y'all.
Bye.